Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1979 Pontiac Trans Am. Up front is a 6.6 liter V8. Down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Trans Am because, does it get any more iconic in an American car? I personally don't think so. This thing is sweet. And although it might not be fast, it might not be super agile, it just looks f***ing cool. And sometimes that's all that matters. But if you would like to share your vehicle with me, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 6.6 liter V8 under the hood, better known as the 403 cubic inch V8. Well, it's actually an Oldsmobile designed engine, so of course GM did a lot of parts sharing in the era. That's to be expected. But this engine actually comes from the lineage of the Oldsmobile rocket engines, which back in 1949 was the first overhead valve V8 that was mass produced. So this engine comes from a long line of performance American engines back when we were on top in that technology. So while the Trans Am isn't really fast, and by isn't really fast, I mean it's not fast. It's lopey, it's strong, but by modern standards, a Ford Focus will probably knock this thing out of the water. But in the 70s, that wasn't the focus, baby. Style and sheen was all the rage, and boy does this car have a lot of that. Like I said, paired to it is a 3-speed automatic known as the Turbo Hydromatic 3-speed. It was a pretty common transmission found in GM products of the era. It's doing a fine job here 40 some odd years later. Last but not least about the drivetrain of the Trans Am, of course, it is rear-wheel drive. So how's it feel to drive a Trans Am from 1979? Well, once your veins stop popping in your arms and legs, you wipe the tears from your eyes, and your ears stop ringing from the bald eagles, it's decent. You know, it actually has a pretty comfortable ride, something I wasn't particularly expecting. Visibility's fantastic because the A-pillars are so small. The 3-speed is comfortable around town. Is it super sporty? No, but that's okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, you just look cool. You just look cool. And that's something you cannot just add on to any regular vehicle. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of gauges. Directly in front of me, I have my tachometer, speedometer, oil pressure, and water temperature, as well as I have like my wipers, my lights, and a climate control vent. I do love by the gauges, it says radial tuned suspension. Oh, thank God. And on the steering wheel, I don't have anything. Nothing at all. No airbag. I do get the little Trans Am Firebird logo, but that's it. Very thin, very easily maneuverable. I like that a lot. And moving on to the door, we have another Firebird logo, our mirror adjustments for the manual mirrors, and the latch to get in and out. Moving into the center, we get even more gauges with the fuel gauge and battery voltage, as well as 2 little climate control vents. And then we get the climate controls themselves. So this was a factory AC car, which was pretty interesting for the time. And off to the right, we have our cigarette lighter and our defrost on and off. Then we have our radio, which according to my research, it is in fact illegal in most states and counties to drive a Trans Am without something Van Halen in the 8-track player. Then we have a little pull-out ashtray, a little cubby, tons of negative space just to do nothing with. And then we come to the shifter. The shifter you push down on the top. Again, something I wasn't really expecting, but a very cool little feature of this automatic transmission. Very easy to get in and out of gear, no complaints there. Then we have our power window switches. So this does in fact have power windows, which was a very nice feature. And I am pleasantly requiring on a day like today because the AC is not quite cutting it, and it is about 100 degrees. So, you know, very nice to have power windows today. Then I do get a little center console and no cup holders, found in the 1979 Trans Am, so unfortunately, but predictably, it fails. However, I've heard that plenty of cases of liquid will fit in the back, but that's just the word on the streets and interstates. Now, the seats are very comfortable. Again, I feel like a broken record in these videos, but 1970s and 80s cars really knew what the heck they were doing when it came to comfortable seats. Cars of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s are way too sprung. They're very bouncy, and that's because suspension technology wasn't fantastic, so the seats kind of had to be the suspension. Well, by the 70s, we pretty much had the suspension worked out, and so we could put really comfortable, really plush seats in our cars, and that's exactly the case here in the Pontiac Trans Am. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. Now, I am in the back of the 1979 Pontiac Trans Am. It's not comfortable back here. If I was a kid, if I was shorter, smaller, all the things society tells me to be, I would fit back here a lot better. My leg actually isn't even fully in. Let's see if we can get it in. There we go. I'm fully in the back seat of the 79 Trans Am. It's cool to be back here. Like, it's cool to tour, like, old war locations and stuff, but I wouldn't want to live back here, so that's fair. But just the red seats, the red seats just get me. Oh, man. And the red. Love this. It's so 79. I can't get over it. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. Then we'll talk about the looks, which you're going to want to stick around for. All right. We're around the back of the Pontiac Trans Am from 1979. We will get to the cargo space, but I just want to take a moment. The sun is shining. I'm in a 79 Trans Am. And if you have time to sit down and watch this video like you are doing now, life's okay for this little moment. It ain't so bad. Now, I'm sure you probably have bills to pay, or you got to go back to work or school or something like that. But for now, for this little moment, whether you're enjoying a meal, on a break, trying to wind down at the end of the day, you're doing okay. If you've gotten to this point where you're seeing this video, just for this moment, life is okay. I just want to say how much I appreciate all of you guys watching. This is just awesome. Let's talk about some cargo space. Let's get back into car review mode. So down here we do have the fuel filler, which is awesome. This little door swings out. Love that. But then in here we have the trunk release. So circle key for the trunk. And back here, of course, it is an old car. We have our necessities, but nothing really too crazy beyond that. Honestly, smaller trunk than what I would have thought, but that's okay. Super cool to see. Super cool that they hide it. And as I mentioned, there are two keys. So this is for the ignition, this is for the doors and trunk. That's the way GM did it until really the early 2000s on some vehicles. So very, very cool to see. Close that door, close that trunk. And let's get on with this review. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I don't know what to say, man. It's so good. It's so friggin' good. It's so American. It's so in your face. It doesn't apologize for anything. At the factory, they said, hey, let's put a big fucking bird on the hood. And then they did, and it looks sweet. You don't get that in cars anymore. You don't see giant animals plastered on vehicles. Even the Hellcat, you can get a decal on the side, but it's not as flamboyant. There's no flair to it. There's no excitement. This, spreading its wings, look at all the different colors in this sticker. It's not just one flat sticker made on a die-cut machine in someone's backyard in Louisville, Kentucky. No. This is a premium sticker that has held up since 1979. And that to me is so cool. The white with the red interior with the red wheels. Oh my God, they're so good. This car just makes me buzz, sing, and hum any time I look at it. And we haven't even talked about the hidden taillights. We haven't even talked about the center mounted gas cap. It's just great. And there isn't any more patriotic of an automobile than this 79 Trans Am. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a 1979 Trans Am? It's the coolest thing on planet Earth and the coolest thing I've done in months. It is so awesome. Is it fast? No. Am I getting my hair blown back? No. But cars are more than that. They're a feeling, they're a mentality, they're an emotion. And that emotion doesn't always have to be fast-paced aggression. This car is here for a good time. This car accentuates life while being the life of the party. You pull up in one of these bad boys, you're getting looks, you're turning heads, and if you're lucky, you might get a smooch. And so I wanted to share two more things about this car. First of all, a huge thank you to the owner, Lynn, for letting me take out her Trans Am. She bought this brand new when she was in high school, and she has kept it her entire life. That is so impressive and explains why this car is so immaculate, so beautiful, and so well kept. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is that elephant film in the room, Smokey and the Bandit, a 1977 film featuring a black and gold Trans Am. Now, that was a 1976 or 1977 Trans Am. This is the 79, looks a little bit different. Of course, this isn't black and gold, so I'm not going to talk much about the movie specifically because this isn't that car. However, what I do want to talk about is the Smokey and the Bandit effect. The movie came out in 1977, and in that year, they sold 68,754 Trans Ams. But that's when the movie came out, so that's not going to get a bunch of traction immediately. What followed in the next 2 years was nothing short of a craze. In 1979, when this vehicle was sold, Pontiac sold 108 of them. They sold almost 50,000 more than in the years prior. And so the reason I bring this up is because this kind of kicked off, at least for GM, the importance of product placement in films. Smokey and the Bandit did more advertising for the Trans Am than any TV commercial, print ad, magazine article ever could. And the effect of that is still felt to this day. The Transformers movies of the mid-2000s, some of my favorite movies growing up, had heavy GM influence and product placement. It made the new Camaro a star. And even to this day, which came out this summer, the Barbie movie had GM product placement with the Hummer EV. So today's movies are shaped by this car's success over 40 years ago. And that is just something special that I really wanted to talk about. Driving this car has been an absolute bucket list moment, and finding one so clean, so authentic, and so beautiful doesn't come around all that often. Enjoy this video, because I most certainly enjoyed making it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Huge, incredibly large thank you to Lynn for letting me take out her Trans Am. This is just an absolute bucket list vehicle for me. She's been so kind, so thoughtful, and so great to work with. And for allowing me to take this out, she is an absolute rock star. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. This is sweat, by the way, not tears. I'm not crying, but I can feel it welling up a little bit. Take care, guys.